I'm gonna show you whippersnapper something. This is my back porch, my apartment complex. Let me show you that plant. Oh, I'm gonna hold this plant because I want to show you guys something about growth. Talk about growth and how beautiful it is, and sometimes how painful it is. So, this plant is kind of beautiful. It kind of resembles like my life right now and a lot of our lives in the moment. Like my mom's is going through different things. This is actually her plant. She gave it to us when she moved from our apartment complex that was around the corner from this one. For some reason, this plant wouldn't grow at all. And so for the past month, I've been bringing it outside. And what I noticed was, I was like, maybe it's just lacking water. So I started to give it a lot of water to where it kind of like overflow. You can see like the residue of the water. And that wasn't helping it to grow. The scorching heat was causing like these I don't know what they're called, but the leaves to like be frail and weak and fall off. And I was like, oh, I guess the sun is killing the plant. But I was like, something told me that, just common sense, I guess, the plant needs sunlight. So I kept taking it out there, kept bringing it out here. And one thing that I did allow was for the plant to be scorched, to allow it to be scorched so that way it gets what it needs. And I moved the dirt around a little bit. But sometimes what we do as human beings is we are a lot like this plant. This plant, at first, it was just in the house the whole time of it being here. It was at our house for like 2 months, but it wasn't growing at all. And it was what we saw for the plant as comfortable. And sometimes what we see in our lives as comfortable, it doesn't allow us to grow. It's when we are put in things that might seem to us unbearable. It might be when things get moved around or shuffled a bit within our lives. It seems uncomfortable and seems like that's not supposed to happen. It's not natural. It's not what we want. But what's crazy is sometimes those are the things that we need. When I started to tear off the weak leaves, this is one of the things that fell off. A couple of the leaves that I tore off, I threw on the ground. But this plant's starting to grow. Through the dirt, you're seeing like leaves grow and spark. It's not getting as much water. It's actually fighting to survive. So it seems like it's flourishing. And so for you in your life, allow God to work. I know some of you don't believe in God, and that's cool. What I feel and what I know to be true is He exists and He's real, and He wants you to live an abundant life, a fulfilled life, a life where you live out your purpose, whatever your purpose might be. Everybody's purpose is different. And sometimes we're not able to live out our purpose because we get stuck in a state of comfort, because it's comfortable. But one thing that I know to be true, we can grow in any environment. But I know that we as human beings experience the most growth and struggle when we're tested, when we're tried, when we do things that are difficult for us. It's like with working out, those muscles won't grow if we're not challenging, if we're not tearing them. What helps a muscle to grow is by ripping and tearing and pushing that muscle. what helps us to gain knowledge is by looking at things from a different perspective, learning new things, seeing from a different lens. We got to be able to challenge ourselves and get uncomfortable. That's when you're going to grow. Just like this plant. When I put this plant in the sunlight, it was what it needed. Yeah, it's hot out here in Vegas. When I stir up the dirt a little bit, that dirt probably hasn't been stirred up in a long time. It's what it needed. That plant just being still, staying in the house, protected. It didn't do anything for it. I saw something on Instagram that talked about if the relationship is no good for you, God is going to tear things up. It's going to mess things up. If the situation in your life is no good, God is going to tear things up. That's just summing up the, I guess the overall, not thesis, but the overall concept of that post. And several times throughout the scriptures, you'll see that we as human beings, we make plans. We think that we know what's best. And honestly, not all the time do we. We're very emotional. Some beg to differ, but we're emotional beings. Because we're emotional beings, every single day our emotion is different based off of our environment and how we respond to our environment. And because of that, we're not very consistent or stable. And because of that, not all the time can we trust ourselves. Because our mind thinks sometimes that the best thing for us is to be comfortable. Our mind fights for us to be in a state of comfort because that's what it thinks we need. That's why when we're pushing ourselves with our workouts, we want to stop, we want to quit because our mind's telling us, no, it's too hard. We don't want to do that. And sometimes we'll even lie to ourselves in good ways and bad ways, sometimes in traumatizing places to where, like, you can be really being hurt by someone, but you convince yourself otherwise because your mind wants to believe that so you can be at peace and be comfortable. But then flipping the coin, like sometimes we convince ourselves of things that are comfortable, and they might be really, really comfortable. It might be good for us, and our minds will convince us of that, but then we don't really grow and really get to experience life. So maybe that job isn't for you. Maybe that person, that relationship isn't for you. Maybe your living circumstance isn't for you. Trust God, take it to God and watch Him work and see what happens. Allow your dirt to be stirred, your soil, where you think your foundation is. Allow it to be shook up a little bit. You'll see what you're truly made of. You'll see if your growth is still stunted, or if your growth, like this plant, will start to experience. It literally started growing in 2 days after I started messing with it a little bit. I might not water it today, probably in the morning. But yeah, our lives are like this plant sometimes. The thing that we think we don't need might be the very thing that we need. And the thing that we think we need might not be what we need. Trust the process. Trust I am. Believe in yourself, knowing that you're called to be greater than what you are. Constantly try to grow and improve yourself. Remember my saying, go with peace, spread love, and always, always, always be kind.